Imagine if, by making just 1% improvements every day, you could completely transform your life. What if the secret to achieving your biggest goals wasn't massive, overnight change, but tiny, consistent habits that compound over time? Welcome to Atomic Habits by James Clear, where we explore the power of small habits and how they can make a huge impact on your life. In this audiobook summary, we'll walk through the key principles of habit formation and learn how to break bad habits, build good ones, and leverage the power of systems to create lasting change. By the end, you'll have actionable strategies to take control of your habits and ultimately your life. In AudiblePages, let's dive into the key lessons from Atomic Habits, lessons that are designed to be simple yet profoundly effective in shaping who you are and what you can accomplish. Part 1. The Fundamentals. Why Tiny Changes Make a Big Difference. Chapter 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. James Clear introduces the concept of atomic habits, small, seemingly insignificant actions that, when repeated over time, lead to remarkable long-term results. He uses the idea of compounding to explain how tiny improvements build up over time, much like how compound interest works in finance. Consider this. If you improve by just 1% every day, you'll be 37 times better at the end of the year. But here's the catch. Just as small, positive habits can compound to create extraordinary results, small, negative habits can also accumulate and lead to long-term setbacks. Focus on making small, consistent changes. Start by identifying one tiny habit that aligns with a larger goal and commit to it daily. Over time, these small actions will compound, leading to significant progress. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity. In this chapter, Clear introduces the idea that your habits are intertwined with your identity. Rather than focusing solely on the outcomes you want, Clear suggests focusing on becoming the type of person who achieves those outcomes. He calls this identity-based habits. For example, instead of setting a goal to read more books, focus on becoming the type of person who reads regularly. Your habits are a reflection of your identity, and by changing your identity, you naturally change your habits. Shift your mindset from outcome-based goals to identity-based goals. Instead of saying, "I want to lose weight," say, "I'm the type of person who values healthy living." This subtle shift in thinking makes it easier to stay consistent with your habits. Chapter 3. The 4 Laws of Behavior Change. Clear presents a framework for understanding and changing habits, which he calls the 4 Laws of Behavior Change. These laws are 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. 4. Make it satisfying. These laws provide a blueprint for building good habits and breaking bad ones. If you want to establish a habit, you need to make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. On the flip side, to break a bad habit, you do the opposite. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Choose one habit you want to build and apply the 4 laws of behavior change. For example, if you want to exercise more, start by laying out your workout clothes. Choose a workout you enjoy, start with a short session, and reward yourself with something positive afterward. Part 2. The First Law. Make it obvious. Chapter 4. The man who didn't look right. In this chapter, Clear highlights the power of cues in triggering our habits. He explains that many habits are automatic responses to cues in our environment, whether we realize it or not. By making our cues obvious, we can make it easier to start new habits. For example, if you want to remember to drink more water, place a glass of water on your desk where you can see it. The visual cue makes the action more obvious and likely to occur. Identify a habit you want to build and create a clear cue for it in your environment. If you want to journal every morning, place your journal and pen on your nightstand where you can see them as soon as you wake up. This small adjustment will remind you to engage in the habit. Chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Clear introduces the concept of habit stacking, a strategy where you pair a new habit with an existing one. By stacking your new habit onto something you already do consistently, you create a strong association that makes the new habit more automatic. For example, if you want to start meditating, you can stack it onto your existing habit of making coffee in the morning. After I make my coffee, I will meditate for 5 minutes. Think about a habit you want to build and stack it onto an existing routine. Write down your habit stack using this formula. After, I will. This technique helps integrate new habits seamlessly into your daily life. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. Clear explains that while motivation is important, it's often fleeting and unreliable. What really drives consistent behavior is your environment. By designing your environment to support your desired habits, you reduce the need for willpower and make it easier to follow through. For instance, if you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your pantry and keep healthy snacks within reach. Your environment makes the right choice the easy choice. Redesign your environment to support your goals. Look around and make adjustments that make your desired habits more accessible. If you want to read more, place books around your home where you can easily pick them up. Part 3. The Second Law. Make it attractive. Chapter 7. The secret to self-control. Clear explains that habits become more attractive when we associate them with positive feelings or rewards. If a habit is enjoyable or satisfying, we're more likely to stick with it. The key is to make the habit itself or the anticipation of the reward more appealing. Imagine pairing your new habit with something you enjoy. For example, if you want to start exercising more, listen to your favorite podcast while you work out. This makes the workout more enjoyable and increases your motivation to do it. Find ways to make your habits more attractive. Pair your habit with something you enjoy, or set up a small reward system that makes you look forward to the habit. This could be as simple as treating yourself to a cup of tea after completing a task. Chapter 8. How to make bad habits unattractive. Just as we can make good habits more attractive, we can also make bad habits less appealing by associating them with negative feelings or consequences. Clear suggests reframing bad habits in a way that highlights their long-term negative effects. For example, if you're trying to cut back on sugar, remind yourself of the health risks associated with high sugar consumption. By focusing on the negative impact of your bad habits, you make them less attractive and easier to avoid. Reframe your bad habits by focusing on their negative consequences. For each bad habit, write down how it negatively affects your health, productivity, or well-being. This will help reduce the temptation to engage in the habit. Part 4. The Third Law. Make it easy. Chapter 9. Walk slowly, but never backward. In this chapter, Clear emphasizes the importance of reducing friction when it comes to building new habits. The easier a habit is to do, the more likely you are to do it consistently. He encourages us to optimize for the starting line by making the habit as simple as possible at first. For example, if you want to start running, begin with a goal of putting on your running shoes and stepping outside. Once you've started, it's much easier to continue. The key is to lower the barrier to entry. Break down your new habit into the smallest possible step and make that your initial goal. By focusing on starting rather than perfecting, you make it easier to get the habit going and build momentum. Chapter 10. How to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. Clear introduces the 2-minute rule, which suggests that any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to start. By lowering the time commitment, you remove the resistance to getting started. Over time, these 2-minute habits can be expanded into longer routines. For instance, if you want to read more, start by reading just 1 page a day. Once you've completed the first page, it's much easier to keep going. The key is to make the habit so easy that you can't say no. Apply the 2-minute rule to any habit you want to build. Reduce the habit to its simplest form, just 2 minutes, and commit to doing it daily. This eliminates procrastination and builds the foundation for larger habits. Chapter 11. How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. Clear explains the concept of commitment devices, which are tools or strategies that make it harder to engage in bad habits and easier to stick to good ones. By setting up systems that remove the option of indulging in bad habits, you can ensure success. For example, if you struggle with spending too much time on your phone, you could use an app that limits your screen time. Alternatively, if you want to save more money, you could set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account. These commitment devices automate your good habits and make it difficult to fall into old patterns. Identify a habit you want to build and set up a commitment device to support it. If you want to exercise more, arrange to meet a friend at the gym regularly. This external commitment makes it harder to skip your workouts. On the flip side, find ways to make your bad habits harder to engage in, such as removing temptations from your environment. Part 5. The Fourth Law. Make it satisfying. Chapter 12. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Clear explains that for a habit to stick, it needs to be satisfying. When we experience immediate rewards, our brain reinforces the behavior, making us more likely to repeat it. This is why short-term rewards are critical in the early stages of habit formation. Imagine trying to build a new habit, such as eating healthier. If the habit is immediately satisfying, like feeling energized after a nutritious meal, it's more likely to become a regular part of your routine. The satisfaction you get from the reward strengthens your desire to continue the habit. Set up immediate rewards for completing your habits. For example, after completing a workout, reward yourself with a favorite activity or a healthy snack. By associating positive feelings with the habit, you'll increase the likelihood of repeating it. Chapter 13. How to stick with good habits every day. Clear emphasizes the importance of tracking your progress. Habit tracking provides visual proof of your efforts, which can be incredibly motivating. The simple act of marking off a completed task creates a sense of accomplishment and helps build momentum. Think of tracking as keeping score in a game. It adds an element of challenge and satisfaction as you see your progress build over time. Whether it's a habit tracker, a journal, or an app, tracking your habits helps you stay accountable. Start tracking your habits. Use a calendar, journal, or app to mark off each day you complete your habit. Seeing a visual chain of success motivates you to keep going. Remember, the goal is consistency, not perfection, so don't be discouraged by the occasional missed day. Chapter 14. How an accountability partner can change everything. Clear introduces the idea of using accountability to stay committed to your habits. When you share your goals with someone else, you create a sense of social responsibility. An accountability partner can help you stay on track by providing encouragement and holding you accountable when you slip up. Imagine having a friend or coach who checks in with you regularly about your progress. Knowing that someone else is invested in your success can be a powerful motivator to keep going, even when your willpower is low. Find an accountability partner for your most important habit. It could be a friend, family member, or even a mentor. Set up regular check-ins to report your progress and discuss any challenges. This external accountability adds an extra layer of motivation to stay consistent. Part 6. Advanced Tactics. How to go from being merely good to being truly great. Chapter 15. The truth about talent. In this chapter, Clear acknowledges that while habits are crucial, talent and genetics also play a role in success. However, he emphasizes that even if you aren't naturally gifted in a certain area, you can still achieve great results by developing the right habits and working within your strengths. Think of talent as the starting point. It gives you an initial advantage, but habits are what sustain long-term success. By focusing on areas where you have natural strengths and applying effective habits, you can outperform those who rely solely on talent. Identify your strengths and align your habits with them. Focus on building habits that allow you to maximize your natural abilities. For example, if you're naturally a morning person, build your most productive habits into your morning routine to leverage that strength. Chapter 16. The Goldilocks Rule. How to stay motivated in life and work. Clear introduces the Goldilocks Rule, which states that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are just beyond their current abilities. If something is too easy, we lose interest. If it's too hard, we become discouraged. The key is to find the just right level of challenge. Consider an athlete who gradually increases the difficulty of their training. By continually pushing slightly beyond their limits, they stay motivated and improve over time. This same principle applies to building habits. Keep the challenge manageable, but always aim for slight improvement. Apply the Goldilocks rule to your habits by setting challenges that are just outside your comfort zone. If you're building an exercise habit, try increasing your workout intensity by a small percentage each week. This keeps you engaged and ensures continuous improvement. Chapter 17. How to keep your habits on track when life gets busy. Clear acknowledges that life can get in the way of even the best habits. Whether it's a busy schedule, unexpected challenges, or a change in routine, it's easy to fall off track. However, the key is to have a plan for getting back on track as quickly as possible. Think of it like driving a car. Occasionally, you'll hit bumps in the road or take a wrong turn. The important thing is not to panic, but to course correct and keep moving forward. Clear emphasizes that missing a habit once isn't a problem. The real issue is when missing becomes a pattern. Plan for setbacks and have a strategy for getting back on track. If you miss a habit, don't be discouraged. Focus on starting again the next day. Write down your if-then plan, such as, if I miss my workout, then I will go for a walk after dinner. This helps prevent one missed habit from turning into a complete derailment. Chapter 18. The downside of creating good habits. Clear ends by discussing the potential downside of habits. While habits are incredibly powerful, they can also lead to stagnation if we become too reliant on them. Once a habit becomes automatic, it's easy to stop improving. The key is to periodically review and refine your habits to ensure they continue to serve your goals. Imagine a musician who practices the same scales every day without pushing themselves to learn new techniques. Over time, their progress stalls. Similarly, we need to challenge ourselves to continue growing, even after a habit becomes well-established. Regularly evaluate your habits to ensure they're still aligned with your goals. Every few months, review your routine and ask yourself if it's time to adjust or raise the bar. This keeps your habits fresh and prevents you from becoming complacent. Practical advice and wrap-up. James Clear's Atomic Habits teaches us that success is built through small, consistent actions that compound over time. The power of atomic habits lies in their simplicity and the fact that even tiny improvements can lead to massive results when repeated over months and years. The key takeaways are clear. Focus on making your habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Start small, track your progress, and stay committed. Remember, the real power of habits isn't in perfection, but in consistency. So, start today by choosing one small habit that aligns with your goals and begin applying these principles. Over time, you'll see how these atomic habits can transform your life in ways you never imagined.